Hey guys, Toast here. Welcome to What Made It Great. This is a series where we discuss certain aspects of games that made them great, or even games themselves that were standout experiences, and analyze what it was about them that made them enjoyable. Today, I want to discuss the Battlefield 3 map, Grand Bazaar. Battlefield 3 actually had a lot of really great maps, and there are definitely others that I'll hopefully cover down the line. However, my most memorable games, and where I would argue that I've had the most enjoyable moments, has been on Grand Bazaar. In going back and replaying Grand Bazaar, even for a game that was released in 2011, it's still a standout map in a really great entry in the Battlefield series. Many of the Battlefield 3 maps seem to be designed from the ground up for the rush game mode, and Grand Bazaar felt like no exception. The map was perfectly split up into 4 different styles of battle among the 4 sets of MCOMs. Here you'll see the way in which Grand Bazaar was split up in Battlefield 3. Each portion of the map was different in size and layout, but all worked surprisingly well for the rush game mode. You'll notice that each section is split up with both a street portion, making for more open, sniper-friendly areas with clear lines of sight, and then a building portion with alleyways which created more narrow, linear gameplay, better suited for closer range engagements. It was this well-balanced counterplay with these 2 different styles in Rush on this map, which made it very strongly favored among many. Moving on to the Conquest version of the map, of course it's ultimately the same exact map, however I want to focus on the placement of the capture points. In particular, I want to focus on the A, B, and C points, as Conquest Large, which also included both a D and E point, were not available on the console versions of the game. A point is in a parking lot and pretty well right out in the open. There are clear lines of sight from the street as well as the overpass, making it a challenging point to capture, yet a somewhat easier one to hold. B point is right in the middle of a long, narrow passageway. There were various entry points along the sides of the passageway, allowing for players to come and go from the main battle. However, the vast majority of the battle happened in that single middle lane, creating a tug of war for that point, a very different experience than you'll encounter at A point. Then you have C point located right in the middle of a marketplace. The point itself is out in the open, however it's surrounded with various points of cover such as market stands, small buildings, and you have line of sight from both the passageways on the south as well as the buildings on the east end. The fact that the capture points are in a linear progression and the main team spawns offer essentially equal distances to their closest spawn points meant that you had a consistent front on both sides that was ultimately pushing toward the other team's base point, with occasional flanking squads that would make their way around the outskirts. Battlefield 3 did a really amazing job of varying up the atmospheres on many of their maps. To go along with some maps being just day and night, they also added in weather effects which, on this particular map, offered a very gloomy and bleak reality of what war was and what was taking place around everyone. Grand Bazaar takes place during a cloudy and rainy day in Tehran, which casts a bluish hue over most of the map. This brings about a very melancholy feel when playing this map if you're traveling to a certain objective and happen to stop to notice decaying, war-ruined buildings, the Persian graffiti, and the sheer abandonment of what once was likely a very lively market. It really makes you think about the repercussions of the battle at hand. Now, of course, your mind will ultimately be on shooting the baddies, but it never hurts to have a map that can bring about a little bit of introspection while doing so. Now, this is a quick topic more about the weapon balance in Battlefield 3 in general, but due to that, it made this particular map feel very well balanced. The carbines on the Engineer class were best suited for close to mid-range battles, making them really effective in the confined rooms, but less effective in the open streets. The assault rifles for the Assault class were capable of being devastating in the long, narrow passages, particularly around B point in Conquest, but they lacked the up-close stopping power, perhaps except for the AEK, to be effective in close range. The LMGs of the Support class were amazing at laying down suppressive fire in those same passageways to keep the enemy team at bay, but lacked the precision to get a lot of the longer range kills on the streets. And then finally, the snipers excelled where they should have, in the long streets and the open areas, but due to the amount of bullets going down range in the more narrow passageways, they weren't quite as effective due to the overall suppression being very high in Battlefield 3. All of these things combined created a map that was technically interesting, balanced, atmospheric, and ultimately a real pleasure to play on. The gameplay was fast-paced and frantic enough to leave your heart pounding at times, but left enough flank routes and side corridors that you were able to plan technically with your team to pull off some unexpected maneuvers, particularly in Conquest. Battlefield has really had some amazing maps throughout the years, and this to me will always be one of the standouts. But how do you feel about Grand Bazaar? Did you like the map as much as I do and many others do? What do you feel made this map great? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Toast, and I'll talk to you soon.